ultimately what this boils down to is content means traffic, right? So it's not just you as an individual who's blogging, it's everyone who's involved in this program that's blogging, right? And right now, Dane Buy Local, although they might not all be unique views, is getting about 15,000 a month, which is probably a lot more than the average small business is gonna have on their own website, right? So if we all come together and we help Dane Buy Local more than double that, just by providing, maybe we have 15 people who are signed up right off the bat, and they start contributing one blog post a month. Soon, we're gonna see that by sharing those articles across all of our social media platforms and to informing people in person, we're gonna see Dane Buy Local's traffic generation skyrocket. And more importantly, all of that will lead back to your own webpage if you're the one who's publishing. So this was a statistic that I found before ever entering a store. 62% of millennial shoppers, which is my generation, already know what they want to buy through prior online research. 84% of them say consumer written content on brand sites influences what they buy. So this I think directly relates back to the fact that if you want to build consumer trust, especially amongst younger generations, you need to be providing them content. And that can be as simple as, I guess in True Coffee's case, how to roast a coffee bean, right? Or it can be as complex as what's informational architecture and how does information ecology relate, which is in my field of work. But the important thing is that if we're working together as a community to share that content, we're going to see a drastic effect on the traffic that local sites are receiving. Right. Pin on the map. You'll get a badge too, which is also an important thing. If you're part of this marketplace, we're going to encourage everybody who's involved to put the badge at the bottom of their site, so that local consumers, if they're aware of the program, can see, oh, okay, this person's involved with Dane Buy Local, and they're contributing to the community. So I guess this is really just more the part where I will, if I want to keep it pretty conversational. So if you guys have questions about further how this can benefit your business or what kind of content.
The big one that jumps into my head with blogging is conversions.
Right.
So we're going to have this content coming through. Is there a mechanism in place? How are we going to convert that into people actually buying something from someone? At least.
Sure.
So when there's, say, I write a blog post on why chocolate makes you happy. Will that bring up, a different store? Is there a way to bring up the stores that have been categorized as including?
So any content that is published would go back to someone at Dane Buy Local to review, right? So if you wrote an article like that, first of all, you would get publication, you would get authorship of that article, right? It would show up as you who wrote it. You'd have a link directly under that, probably under the title and date and your name that would link back to your website. And then after that, all of the content. And then after the content, there would probably be some sort of field that said, shops that offer chocolate.
Okay. So in the marketplace, there'll be some dynamic content that's related to the blog.
Correct.
So with blogging, on a site like this, how many a day are you looking? I mean, because it's like Facebook,
Right.
So you open Facebook and you're like, I just posted that, there's like 8 things already, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
So, I know blogging is important, I don't do it by YouTube, but, on a site like this, if I were to write an article on, diabetes or something, so could there be even to read more come to, or would it just be the article?
Yeah, if you wanted to do that, that's actually a great way to do it. You could truncate the post. Right, you could truncate the post and put a synopsis or a summary of what you're going to write, and then say to read the full article, come back to my website.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Are you looking for so many a day, or?
I think what we're looking for is, what we discussed was 1 per member per month.
Okay.
right? So it's a pretty easy, easy contribution to make.
I think that'll go down. I mean, if you have 300 people participate, then it'll
Right. So
Yeah.
that way we can encourage more people to be a part of this, right? Because if they see, well, just 10 members who are posting, one time a month are making this much of an impact, imagine how much 30 or 40 or 100 members could make.
And within that blog, could you also, well, I suppose there'll be restrictions, what you can and can't do, or anything that it's like, for a special discount or something like that too, that could even be in there, I suppose.
Yeah, if you have an idea that you want to implement, you could do that. I think what we discussed is that, if you wanted to, basically we want to make this more about content than so much as like selling something, right? So if you want to sell something, then you can purchase like a sponsored post slot.
I suppose too, if you do that, they go back to your site, you could even have it in your article on your very own site.
Right, yeah.
That offers.
So for those of us who already have a monthly blog post, do you think that, does there need to be any difference between the kind of thing that we're already doing, assuming that we're not doing something with, hey, shop here, that we can just kind of take that and send that over?
You can use the same strategy, right? You can use the same content strategy. You can't use the same post. You can give them kind of like a rough idea of what the article is about and put it on Dane Buy Local, but you can't do word for word, right? Because if you start providing duplicate content, then it won't be ranked by Google, which is what we want, and in some cases, it can actually be penalized.
Okay.
So
We got to play with Google to make this all work right.
Play nice with people.
Yeah.
When you say penalized, what, describe that.
SEO. It's just the listing, basically the links back to that site would be of less value to Google, and Google wouldn't rank the page as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Is there a place in the strategy for consumer-generated content? Because I noticed even in your statistics, and I myself feel this way as well, that people are most interested in what their peers have to say and less in what the retailer actually has to say.
Maybe like
Reviews or referrals, just something that would show people that other consumers like them. I think it's a good idea.
Right. I think that there's definitely going to be like comment sections available on all of the blog posts, and anything that will be posted will have social media integrations too, so they can be shared across platforms to open discussion with consumers. I don't think that there's directly a way for like a consumer to provide an article, but there will be ways for them to interact with the content that's being provided by the companies who are involved.
will they be able to like review the stores that they purchased from?
I hadn't thought of that, but that's not a bad idea.
It's something that we've talked about so far. As some of you know, I come from Isthmus, and that was a big point of conversation there. Do we let people review restaurants? They've got a huge restaurant listing, and they tried it. We tried it for a little while, and ended up pulling it down. As I recall, Cap News did the same thing. They had it for quite a while, and it caused more problems than benefits. And so I don't think they do theirs anymore either. So I'd be cautious about that.
Well, when it comes to reviews and testimonials, people typically have trusted resources that they use. Things like Google Plus pages, Yelp. So, we're not really trying to, say, hey, this is the quality of this business on the site. We're just saying, hey, this is a member of Dane Buy Local who is local and who's contributing to the community.
I don't think it's your guys' job to do all that.
Right, yeah.
There's also the option where for the blog post you're submitting, or on your own site, at some place on, at the bottom of the article or something, you put a link to your company's personal Yelp page and basically ask for a review or testimony. If you've had a good experience with us, share it with people here, and then that can kind of you can capture that traffic and that
these are the hardest reviews to get. Is the Yelp and the mobile. Things people check when they're going up.
So not specifically a blog question, but how are competing businesses being treated? So if I go on there, I've got my coffee shop listed, but then I've also got, say, Stephen Brew. So is that something where we could possibly have the same blog post listed each day, or is there something where we're going to be side by side on the category search, and how is that being treated?
You mean if so, say, I'm sorry, who did you suggest as your competitor? Like
Stephen Brew.
Stephen Brew. Okay, so say Stephen Brew and True submit an article the same day,
Yeah.
right? First of all, that probably would be unlikely that they submit it the same day. It would probably be like you both send them into Dane Buy Local, and then Dane Buy Local would kind of say, okay, well, we don't want to publish 2 articles from a competitor on the same day, right? So you get a different publication date than your competitor, unless we have too many people involved to deal with that, in which case it's not so much of an issue of, they're my competitor, it's just they're part of the community too, and I think that with this platform, we just need to have mutual respect for one another, right? Because, even if, say, Greater Galaxy, if we start contributing content, if we have larger, less independently owned firms such as like, Heebing or PopDot, if they start getting involved and contributing content, it's not so much as they're my competitor, but they're part of our community too, right? And they're generating content and they're driving traffic, which is what we want. Yeah.
This is a technical one.
Okay.
I don't know if you've gotten into yet. First, for taxes on sales, will that address all the local municipalities and the different taxes for me being in Dane County versus someone in the village of Oregon versus someone who's in Rock County with a different tax rate?
Taxes are dependent on your individual e-commerce setup, right? So
Okay.
you're not selling products off of Dane Buy Local's website. If you do it on your own website, then they'll go to your website and they'll have taxes. That they
Okay,
have to
so
deal with there.
so my second question, so this little shipping be tax would be addressed the same way?
It's completely up to your website
Okay.
setup. Yeah.
By which you mean basically the big commerce setup is what you're essentially proposing, right?
Right. Yeah. And I can talk about BigCommerce too, but it sounds like a lot of you already have e-commerce setups. So if you already have an e-commerce setup, then there's not really much more you need to do than just the $10 a month that goes to the marketplace, and as well as your content contribution.
We're gonna get into BigCommerce here in a little bit, but we'll let those that have e-commerce already set up, we'll let you go, so you don't have to sit through that. Go ahead, Dan.
For orders around the holidays, I don't, and this might be only an issue for me, in which case it doesn't matter. But is there going to be any way to throttle shopping as the holiday approaches? Like, the problem we run into at our shop is we get into a lot of trouble if we get last minute shoppers, and then on like December 23rd we get 200 orders for people ordering stuff for Christmas last minute. And so we shut our store down.
Right.
We have a store closed page that goes up. And I guess that would address it because
Yep.
they're going through to our site.
Well, you could close the store, but alternatively, you could just monitor your inventory, right, and put a limit on how many products of that particular category or that particular item that you're going to sell.
Okay.
Right. So, like, say you have 200 boxes of one particular kind of box of chocolates, and like you want to sell more, but there's just feasibly it's impossible, right? Just because of
And you can date cycle availability.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
For holidays.
All those kinds of options in terms of like
But yeah, that's
inventory
true.
management
We have
are
a habit of selling
available.
out, no matter how much chocolate we buy or make at this time of year, which is good for the times of year when it's not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could indicate on your webpage that any orders placed after this date will be shipped.
That's it. Yeah, we have a whole long holiday policy.
Yeah.
Just a question of whether people read it or not.
There you go.
Can I answer any other questions about the marketplace?
Sorry.
So just to be clear, the blog posting is included in the monthly fee?
Yes. Yeah. There's no. You can submit one blog post a month, or you can submit 50. Right. We're not going to limit you on how many opportunities you have to voice your opinions or share with
At
others.
this point.
Right. I mean, if it gets to the point where it becomes unwieldy with how much content we're generating, which I don't really see because there's not really like we'd figure out a way to scale it so that we're, maybe we're running on a better system and we can categorize things better and do automated publishing and all kinds of stuff like that. So scale's not an issue.
And how big are the blogs? Well,
You know what? You can make it anywhere from 400, 500 words to 1,500. So it's recommended that you kind of play around with it and see what kinds of articles generate the most traffic for you. Yeah.
What's your feeling about including images and videos?
Images are always better. I was looking at a ton of statistics in terms of content marketing strategy and that kind of thing, and posts with images tend to elicit like a 70 or 80% higher response than those with just text. So images are always really good. Same thing with videos. I don't know about posts in particular, but I know that if you have a video on a particular web page, people are likely to stay an average of 5 to 7 minutes longer on that page.
Yeah,
So
it gives you a big Google SEO boost too.
yeah.
Here's what?
It gives you a video on a site. Google ranks the site higher if it has a video on it.
They like that.
Some people's attention spans are so short.
Right.
And time is like, especially if there's a lot of content. So I've always been told, keep it short, keep it sweet. That's why I said, can you say for the rest of the story?
Actually, I covered that this weekend. Tim and myself wrote a 30-page ebook on e-commerce success. And one of the things that we cover is talks about design and content, and you actually have 50 milliseconds to make an impression on your user. They will judge your website within 50 milliseconds and make the decision as to whether to leave or to stay. So it's not 5 seconds, right?
Which is why pictures are good.
Right.
Yeah.
So the blogging system you're going to be setting up will support multiple images, slideshows, videos, those kinds of things? Or
I'm not sure about slideshows, but I know that definitely, we can embed any kind of image or video or anything like that. That's really easy to do.
That's not too much trouble. Okay.
I mean, the other thing that you can do is link to the video too. But we'll try to figure it out so that it's easy for Dane Buy Local members to embed the videos.
Isn't that good too? Maybe I'm wrong, but when they click to go, it goes back. Isn't that
Yep.
beneficial when they?
Well, so there's two types of links. There's no follow links and follow links, right? So if I'm writing a review about 3 different products, right, and I basically have one product that I endorse and 2 that I don't endorse, I can put follow and no follow links on those, right? So I can say, this is the one that I endorse. I want them to know that I'm sending them traffic. These are the ones that I say, you know what, like, don't use these platforms. I can put a no follow tag on them so that they don't see that they're generating traffic from my site. So, but I would say that all of the links that are being created would probably be follow links. So, yeah.
So are the blog posts attached then to like our individual sites or our individual listings? Rather than, I mean, I've seen when you go on websites before, I've seen like a whole list of blog posts that people have done, and it's a whole list, and then I'm thinking, well, if they've got one about chocolate, and then they've got one about health, and then they've got one about, clothing or something like that, and they're all mixed together, how do people find?
Sure, so we're gonna figure out a proper categorization.
Okay.
So that way, every post that's submitted will be tagged with a category, and that way you can go through and you can filter, like if you're looking for specifically a post about chocolate, you could go through and you could type in a custom search and say chocolate, and it would populate anything that had a keyword of chocolate in there.
So the blog posting is not going to be on the Shop Online Now page, or is
It won't be.
Okay, so
No,
it'll just
but
be like a separate blog.
right, but
The-
I think that there will be with every blog post that's created, there will be a link back to that marketplace. Say, find other content from shops that are local on our Dane Buy Local marketplace or on our Dane Buy Local blog, something like that. So that way we're sharing that. Yeah.
For the promotional stuff, is there going to be a lot of advertising in terms of radio, TV, print, that
That's
kind of
Colin's
thing.
So yeah, that's my area. Are there any other questions that relate to Andy, Alex, before we get into that? What were we calling you the other day?
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Amen.
Aaron. So, okay, so the one thing I forgot to mention on this sheet, there's little blanks on the left-hand side there. So if there is an opportunity that you want to take advantage of, just check that off, and then you just sign it at the bottom, and you'll be set up to go today. Some of the promotional opportunities that are coming down the road here that are related to this. So the first one there is having a text listing that would be in the newsletters that we send out. So we send out 2 Buzz newsletters, which is to members each month, and we send out a Lifestyle, which is to the general public, which have Buy Local articles that are in those. And so there will be a section in there that will list the members who want to be listed on there. Okay, so it's $25 to participate. Anyone that signs up here by Friday, that $25 is waived through the end of the year. So that's an added benefit of signing up to get things going.
Do you know the subscription rates for those? How many people?
I do. If I ask Lark. Lark, do you remember? How many Buzz and Lifestyle messages do we have going out? Do you remember?
Yes, how many people are reading them, or how many are actually going?
No, how many are going out?
Per month?
Well, per issue.
There's 2 buzzes.
No, so when we send out a buzz, how many people does it get sent out to?
Perfect, okay. The buzz goes out to about 1,600 contacts, and it has about a 32% open rate.
Which is high.
Yeah.
And then the Lifestyle?
That one goes out to about 4,500 contacts.
45.
And I don't know offhand what the open rate is, but it's just a little bit lower. It's like 28% or something.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. So that's that one. Then the second one, which is $150 a month, is the text listing in both of the newsletters and a skyscraper. Did we figure out we can't go to the webpage? Oh, we did.
No, not yet. I'm just working on. I have like a picture.
Okay.
So
the skyscraper would be ads that run up and down the side of the page. If you just go to the home page, there's a sample of it there. Just dial down.
This one on the side from George.
Yeah, exactly. The studio there. You should really have a box around that. That's a brand new ad. I haven't even seen that one yet. So it would be the ad like contrast going there. Okay, and it would be on the marketplace page that would show up. So it won't be on the entire website. It would be on that online shopping page that would show up on. Okay, and there are 4 opportunities available there. So you'd only rotate with 3 other ads through the course of the month that you're signed up for. The other one is instead of a skyscraper, it's the leaderboard, which is the ad up on the top. If you dial down, so Wisconsin Historical Museum ad, okay, it would be that one. Again, on the online shopping page that would show up with, and would rotate with 1 other advertiser. So you get more exposure from that. And then along with that would be text messaging that would be sent out with your specific business name attached in the text message. And that, I'm trying to think, I think it's about 2,000 total contacts that we currently have on text messaging. Okay.
How much is that one?
So it would be the text listing in the newsletters, skyscraper, and the text messages that go out, that get pushed out for $250 a month.
Okay. And this one's 100?
And 150 on the other one. Okay. And there's a special deal with that as well. If you sign up by the end of the month on any of those 2 options, the 150 or 250, you buy 1 month, you get the second month at no charge. Okay. Questions on that? So what we'll be doing then, to get to Dan's question here as far as the holidays are concerned, is we will be doing about $9,000 worth of advertising during the holiday season. That will be, to think about all the different ones we have, Wisconsin Public Radio, Wisconsin Public Television, Magic 98, Isthmus, Cap Times, Brava, Jewish News, I'm forgetting 2 or 3 other ones. So
Madison Magazine?
Madison Magazine is one of them, yep. So there's a number of different ones that we already have set up that this will all be promoted in and trying to spread the word
Well,
to drive traffic.
the other thing that we talked about too was potentially adding like a featured article sections to the buzz, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely. Yeah, it'll be in our newsletters and social media and all that good stuff as well. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So I think we're to the point then, if you have e-commerce already set up, that's really the end of what we've got for you. If you need help with setting up e-commerce page, we have a solution for that. That's what we're going to talk about next.